welcome to Ain't Nothing New Under the Sun. My name is Darius,
I am George.
and we have another episode for you. I know it's been a while,
Been a
but
while.
yeah, since sure, yeah. So it's been crazy. It's been a while. I don't know. We were up in bunkers because of the election, so we had to hide out. Um, but yeah, we're on the run right now, and now we're finally able to get back and talk to everyone, all 25 of you. So welcome back.
Let's
Uh,
kill it.
oh yeah, let's kill like OJ. Speaking of OJ, he's been pretty active on Twitter lately. You know, it's like I'm glad he's using his hands for that instead of stabby stabby. But you know, he's murdering the Twitter scene, if you know what I mean. He has his
Yeah.
own like catchphrase too, and his own like, you know
Of
who it
course.
is, you know what it is. Like I follow him. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I follow him. It's OJ. So
Feel like people follow OJ for the same reason they follow Trump.
oh yeah.
So the conspiracy world is on fire as of ever since this whole entire shebang happened. As far as Biden being the projected winner, would you say? And
Yeah.
then
He's the
as
president
of
elect. Okay.
yeah,
Gosh.
and as of 10 minutes ago, they found like 1/6 of votes in Clark County, Nevada,
Mhm.
that are being thrown out. So looks like Nevada might be flipping, possibly. And they found 2,600 votes in a smart card in Atlanta.
Hmm.
That, yeah, that never got counted. And all those votes were Trump.
All right. You know,
So,
this is the problem. Okay. There's people that really hate Trump. There's people that
really.
really love Trump, right?
Hmm.
And Biden was running off of not being liked. He was running off of Trump being hated. And
Yeah.
so even if he doesn't have a direct hand in voter fraud, there has been voter fraud. I don't believe there was not. Like, there's no way. Okay? You know, I tweeted today, if you think that Joe Biden has almost 10 million more votes than Obama 2008, you're on more crack than Hunter Biden right now. Because he is at 500,000 less votes than 10 million more than the record.
Yeah. Well, like I said this in the beginning. Also, I'm pretty sure I said it on here. Like I don't vote, but I knew for a fact the only way Biden would have won if he cheated. And lo and behold, they're finding all these like mismark ballots or ballots that were thrown away or just not even counted. It's I don't know. It's kind of interesting how this hell is like opening up, and then you have essentially the QAnons on Twitter essentially saying, that everything's gonna flip and this is all part of the plan. I don't know. I don't know. There's the psyops are real. I'm
Yeah.
not it's it's becoming to a point where no one can tell what's true anymore
Well,
because
that's the whole point. So we're in this situation where there's so much misinformation, disinformation, bullshit, and truth at the same time that you can't really decipher and discern for yourself what is and what isn't true. You know, that's the whole thing. You flood the bullshit, and it's too hard for people to pick through, so they go to places like CNN, Fox News, to be told lies because at least their lies make you feel better. And so if they tell you what's going on, then you know that's a lot better for you than if they're not. You know, I was gonna say the whole Q is interesting because they're right about some things, wrong about some things, and they're always about the plan, You know, and my problem is with Q, and I know there's a few Q people that follow us, but what fucking plan, right? Like, again, I don't think there's a plan. Like, what I do believe though, there there are separate small individual plans that other people from Trump to individuals have, but it's not one big old plan. There's not one giant plan that it's because they keep adding, well, this is a part of the plan. Don't worry, it's a part of the plan. If you keep saying it's a part of the plan until it works, that's a problem, because that's just kind of waiting until it works. Another thing is going back to the voting fraud. The reason why I truly believe there's voting fraud, you can go right now on Google live elections and results 2020, and you can look that there's actually a difference in votes. Now, I would say if one candidate had about 10,000 or less different, and then the other candidate had 10,000 or more, right, difference between the legislative, so it's like between Senate and House seats, right, that would be okay. But when you have someone that has 70,000 different, and then if you add Trump's, so you add them together, it's almost 90,000. 90,000. So that means 90,000 people. I'm saying even if you add up the Joe and the other candidates and other Senate seats, you add up all it doesn't match up. There's still about 90,000 difference. That means there's 90,000 ballots that people pressed only Joe Biden or Trump. Mostly Joe Biden. About the majority of those is Joe Biden. So anybody else see a problem there? No one. That's weird. That's even if it's true, that's a problem, because that means people went in to vote not caring about what's on anything else. That's even worse. That's scarier, that we have people out there. So I would prefer it's voter fraud, because at least you know that there's not that many dumb people. But you're telling me in one state alone, 90,000 people only voted for the president and nothing else. Not any of the local measures, any of the state measures, any of the House representatives, anybody in the Senate. That's a
Those
problem.
are pet ballots.
Yeah.
Like,
Foo the kitty cat.
yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. It's strange. Very, very strange.
Well, we're in a strange world where, okay, I've met people that have dog names and I've met their dogs have human names. So, that's kind of hard to discern if it's a real ballot or not. Someone could,
yeah.
I had a dog named Kiki and had a good friend named Kiki at the same time. No relations. And don't worry, she was white, you racist people, you racist motherfuckers out there.
Yeah. Like, all right. So going into like even this voter fraud of election, I don't know. They keep on saying it's election or voter fraud. It's two different types of fraud that are kind of going into play. And you have like German computers essentially saying
Dominion.
Trump won.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Are you talking about the ballot machines or the what? Sorry.
So there was the like OAN just put up something saying like the German computers essentially said Trump won by a landslide, like 400 and something to like 128 or something like that. But I don't know. Going in even to the Dominion, definitely those got switched up apparently, and I don't know, like nothing. There's just so much that went into play into this particular election. It's kind of crazy, and the amount of like, I mean, I'm in Biden-Harris Central in a now blue state that might even be flipping because of the voter fraud out here, and I don't know. Like they're at 99. They've been at 99% full counts for the past 5 days.
Yeah,
like they're not.
That doesn't make sense. How you can be at the 5 days? 5
Yeah.
days. Hey, just fucking finish. How hard is it? And places like Florida, New York, California, Texas, they got their votes done pretty quick. Yeah, some, like technically some areas aren't 100% yet, but if you look at Florida and Texas, they got it done. They didn't do in person and then waited all night to do the ballots and waited days. That's where there's problems, because obviously, if I were going to cheat and I was going to try to rig the election, I would use mail-in, and especially in the states where you can keep mailing it in as long as it gets in the day of or the day after or around there. Some states are a little different. You can do it. Now, that's not how it works. And my favorite part is all these people that mailed their fucking ballots in are out on the streets partying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Did you want it to be?
Did you say you're gonna die? Chuck Schumer.
It's too dangerous.
Chuck Schumer said
Uh-huh.
it's too dangerous and people will die, and then went out without a mask in the streets, and then put on the mask when he saw that they put the camera on him. He's a fucking scumbag. And I'm telling you, people out there, if you voted for certain people, okay, I'm not saying you should have voted Republican or not. I'm not saying that. If you voted for very specific people, or just because you voted for one party in general, because that's the only party you care about, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. I'm sorry. There's certain people I like, but then there's certain people that are some of the most worst, horrible scumbags that like how do people vote for you still? How? Are people that dumb? But there are people that dumb.
Yes. Yeah. That's like,
My brother-in-law right now
actually-
is going to ASU, and online, and there's new diversity classes he has to take to graduate. It's a real class that's been added that he has to take. He has to learn about diversity, multiple classes, regular diversity in what's it called, like in the business and stuff. And today we were talking, and he was just like, he's like, let me ask you these questions, right? Because he had to do this. They're doing like business scenarios, right? And you have to go through these scenarios to find which is the best for your business to survive in today's political climate. So he picked the most run-of-the-mill, down the middle, black and white answers, right? Like, very like, hey, don't discriminate, do the right thing, blah, 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 right? He got it wrong. It wanted to be more aggressive and be very aggressive towards, non-discrimination, and make sure that you call out, instead of saying all discrimination, ethnicity, sexual preference, all, sort of sexual orientation, whatever you want to say or call it, whatever, what have you, that every company has. They want it more. And it literally says in the curriculum, it doesn't matter if it costs more in resources and revenue to make sure that nobody's feelings are hurt and we do not overstep our bounds when it comes to very sensitive issues. So you're telling me that emotions are more important than the bottom line in business?
Mhm.
That's not how business works. And then the same kids want to do socialism. But then if you want to be a socialist, your business ethics and business degree goes out the window.
Yeah, so that's the whole entire thing. What I'm confused on, like, it feels like the big corporate, companies are wanting this type of thing. Even, like, they have to have some foot in this socialist game, as like, as far as Amazon, J.P. Morgan.
So
Like,
what happens is they have the monopoly, right? So if you become socialist and Amazon's like, well, we could do all these services, so we don't need small businesses anymore because there's no more need, right? Like, there's no more need. Walmart, Target, and Amazon can give you all the services you need, and every mom and pop will be shut down because they can't. And then you work at those places for a credit system rather than cash. That's why they're looking for like a Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, but their own cryptocurrency for the new dollar. It's on the, I've heard and read a few things about a few articles. So, these people don't know what socialism is. They like to change definitions. They like to change how things work. And, the biggest problem about communism and socialism is competitive. The competitiveness of humans. The competitive nature of humans. Our survival. It's an instinct. It's in us. Fight or flight. It will always be in us. And there will always be a sucker born. And for every 20,000 suckers, there's a leader born. And that's just how it is. So what happens is power always shifts towards the leader side. And so these people are sheeple, and they get corralled into doing something. They get convinced, pushed, and they follow this socialist where we're all equal, but that it's not really equal. It's more of an oligarchy or totalitarian model of socialism slash, communism. So they think that they're all equal, but they are all equal. But people like Jeff Bezos control everything and have all the power and becomes a monopoly. And so they're told that it's good that they are doing what they're doing and that they will change the world and they are doing what's right because everyone will be equal and everyone will have the opportunity. It won't be equal. It would be equitable, not equal, because equality of outcome needs equity, right? Like that's they don't want equality of the journey, right? And sad to say, I was told this at a young age. There will always be a worker bee, right, and a queen bee. There is always going to be a worker ant, an army ant, and a queen, right? There's very specific positions. Not everybody has what it takes to be a better position. We've been coddled, especially our generation and younger, even worse, that they're the greatest generation. You have these kids on Generation Z acting like they won the world and they changed the election and they're going to make the world better through their TikTok when it's not.
The K kids.
Huh?
The K-pop kids.
Yeah, the K-pop kids, these dumbass TikTokers. And it's funny because they're falling into the sheeple trap. They're doing the bidding of the warmongers. So let's get into Joe Biden and his picks and some of the people they're talking about, some of the people they've tapped. I'm looking at it as it's going to be a shit show. I don't really care if you have 100% female cabinet, 2%, 1%. I don't care if you have transgender. I don't care anything. But I think it's funny that they're forcing, a very diverse, because he has to be diverse.
Diversity drops bombs too,
Yeah. And, I thought I read this article, and it says that 53% of Joe Biden's cabinet is going to be identifying as female. Not female. Identifying. I'm like, who cares? Okay? Good. Do your job. Can you do the job? Right? I'm old school.
Yeah.
You're a man, woman, child. Well, maybe no more child labor, but man or woman. LGBTQ. I don't give a fuck what you do. Can you do your job? Okay? I was taught my whole life is shut up and work. Right? Be better, get better, do better. I'm all for women in powerful positions. My sister beats my ass in jiu-jitsu. She's a purple belt. Okay, so I don't know what, whatever. Like, it's life. I looked up to her in sports. My mom's one of the best, hardest working people I've ever met in my life. So, who cares what anyone wants to do or can or can't do? If someone has the ability to do it, let them do it. But to make a spectacle out of it and to parade it around, it's kind of messed up in my book. If you really think about it, it's really messed up. It's like what white women do to black people, like how there's a racist joke, let me go tell on somebody for you. It's like, who are you? The word police? You're a word Nazi? Nobody cares.
Yeah, so you have 5 Biden transition officials and possible 5 cabinet picks handed intelligence on Michael Flynn. Biden himself admitted unmasking requests identified Flynn in January 2017. So you have these people that essentially should be guilty, in essence, and that aside, that transition team, those people that got caught in that whole entire Obamagate thing, are in the new cabinet, and the time to heal, the Great Reset. So,
well, that's the whole point. They did their job. They did something and they're promised a job. That's what you do. You jump on the sword for the job. Yeah, you're gonna get a slap on the wrist, but once you get once you get in position of power, that doesn't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm. And that, that slap on the wrist was absolutely nothing compared to what they should have gotten.
Yeah.
Like,
These people are
use.
criminals, okay? I
Mm-hmm.
don't care if there's an R or a D or whatever the fuck you think it is in front of them. I don't care if there's RD, LGBTQ, fucking man, woman. You break the law and you commit treason for fucking years.
And
Years.
it doesn't help, make the cases, as far as being a good person. Obviously you can be a shitty person and get a lot further in this life.
Well, that's what it is. Like,
Yeah.
no billionaire did good things on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really look at it, the people he's talking to, his cabinet members, and just how they're moving forward, is not good. Essentially, she's a female, but also she was an executive at Google. Oh, is that weird? That's weird that there's a former Google executive that's promised a position. Weird, right? Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the people that handed in evidence and unmasked Flynn and broke the law. Oh, they're given jobs. Oh, I'm just glad they're female. I'm just so glad because that's just so. He just cares. He just cares so much about us. He cares about people of color and women and rights.
Hillary Clinton's going to be the UN ambassador.
Yeah, UN ambassador Hillary Clinton. They came, we came, we saw, they died. Okay, Hillary Clinton, UN ambassador. Actually, I'm not even mad about that because I don't trust the UN. I don't like the UN, but she's meaner than fucking a pit bull. So at least, you know what? Maybe we won't be fucking invaded by the UN and fucking brought into the New World Order. She's a psycho. So that's almost a good thing. I'm not even mad about that one.
Yeah.
But Suzanne Rice is getting tapped. Elizabeth Warren's trying to get a job. That fucking fake fuck.
I mean, this whole it's just so it's almost a facade. This whole entire thing, is this really real? I mean, did they get away this cleanly?
But there are a lot of idiots that allowed them to get away. And guess what? Did you know Biden opened a back channel to China and has been talking about getting rid of the terrorists and reversing all the policies that Trump put in place. And guess what?
Universities need their money, bro.
And not only that, their currency went through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Had the biggest dip and spike in their history. It dipped down when they thought Trump was going to win, and then spiked when Biden became the president-elect. And it's like, do you people not understand that's weird? That's not good. Our rival's currency got stronger with the president we got. Why is their currency getting stronger or weaker because of our president? Especially strong. Mm-hmm. Our biggest rival, rival, the one that wants us knocked off number one, the one that wants to lead the New World Order, the one that's going to overtake us, the one that's literally has essentially slavery, internment camps, ethnic cleansing, warmongering, patrolling the oceans, taking their cuts, owning mines, owning parts of Africa. You know those? The new masters of the world? I hope y'all learning Mandarin. I hope the new number one dog. I hope the new number one is nicer than we were. Because guess what, everybody out there? It's China's turn. It's not anybody. All you Black Lives Matters who think it's your turn to rule the world. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not. I'm not trying to be a dick or racist. It's China's turn. China's
Yeah,
next. You think Africa's
I
going to be the next
visited
strongest
Montreal.
continent that's going to rule the world? It's not. It's China.
Yeah, and China hates black people
They do.
if,
They're
unless they play
racist.
basketball for them.
Yes. Well, it's
As
funny.
far as like China's immigration standards, they treat the Africans the
Oh,
worst.
I don't know if you know this, but they have one of the strictest immigration policies. They hate religion. They hate everything. So, and they feel that they want a 1,000-year dynasty again, and they've been cheated. And they are going to take over. The second, you people are so dumb. All of you. Any of you who voted for Biden, and I'm not saying you should have voted for Trump. I'm saying you should have voted for anybody but Biden. Kanye fucking West over Biden.
Apparently, he had a lot of votes stolen. Also,
Everyone did.
like,
Okay. Joe Biden didn't
like
fucking
his
win.
votes went to Biden. Apparently,
Again,
like,
I will have.
yeah,
I'm gonna put this up more than once. Joe Biden has right now, as we're speaking, 78,945,644 votes as we're speaking. You're telling me
that-
Biden has how many votes? You're telling me, okay? And by the time I upload this and edit it, he's gonna have more. He's gonna have 10 million more than Obama in 2008, when that was the record voting amount. And here's another thing: more Hispanics, Native Americans, and blacks voted for Trump than any other Republican in history, almost doubling.
yeah.
But
I mean,
Biden's.
they're
And
also
do you know who Biden got more votes with? Who he flipped the
white
votes?
people,
Whites.
educated white people.
White people.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that a coincidence that that this movement for Biden was all about white people?
Well, I know a particular person that convinces a family member to vote for Biden because if you don't, you're considered a racist. But granted, he's around another individual that is like pretty crazy Trump supporter, and like the Trump supporters didn't help make the case for Trump, and Trump didn't make the case. But it's also like I feel like though it's a big. Oh, again,
But
we're going into another like it's another psyop by the Biden team as far as like if you don't vote for
well, did you hear
Biden,
what they're
you're a
saying?
racist.
Two things I've heard recently. One, they said the Al Gore not giving in led to 9/11.
Yeah, so they're setting us up for that too. Another false flag.
And then
Or
another thing they said was which is fucking bullshit false. You think that, you're an idiot, go jump off a fucking bridge. Another thing is they also said that because of Biden not being able to get all the top secret shit and go into the intelligence briefings is going to lead to more COVID deaths.
yeah, more deaths overall, and that's when like they keep on saying the spike of COVID is going to increase, and then the possible insurrection of a terrorist organization into the U.S. to cause a certain attack will be implemented.
ISIS is
Almost.
coming back, y'all, or at least a
Yeah.
new organization. Some random terrorist group's got to come back. They're gonna get funded.
Well, they already said they're going to fund the rebels in Syria, and the rebels in Syria are ISIS. Like,
Yeah,
I'm like I don't know like what they kind of think as far as who Assad is. Like this whole entire if you don't know Middle Eastern like history or the politics of the Middle East, like shut the fuck up, because the reason why Saddam Hussein was in place was to put people in check.
yeah.
What happened when they killed Saddam Hussein?
Hell
The
broke
whole
loose.
entire- Yep, hell broke loose. Creation of ISIS, more powerful Al Qaeda, more groups, Sunni, Shiites started killing each other more.
Well, okay. So if you
That's
really
bad.
let's go back a couple thousand years. First of all, there's been fighting there for thousands of years. Second of all, when the Ottoman Empire controlled most of the Middle East, and then Lords of Arabia, if you've ever seen that movie or read about him, everyone who's white or Arab has seen that movie. Um, he got the tribes of the Middle East to fight the Ottomans, right? With the British. And guess what happened? They broke up the Middle East incorrectly. They gave countries incorrectly. They drew a map and said, oh, hey, Kurds, go fuck yourself. Oh, Sunnis, you get this. Oh, Shiites, you get this. And everyone's like, but we're from over there, and this is their land. Oh, fuck yourself? Okay. And then you have after World War II, they just say, guess what? The Jews of the world get Israel and go fuck yourself. So causing more problems. And then the only one keeping everyone in check, like you said, was Saddam Hussein. Because he had the power to keep everyone in check. And like you said, once they got rid of him, it just caused chaos. Because now nobody is the peacekeeper. And you have Iran trying to be, and Syria wanting to be it. But then we don't want Iran to have the power and control the Middle East because, you know, they were kept in check by Iraq. And then in Syria, we don't want them to control anything. So now you just have problems running amok. And then we fund the people. We fund them.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't know what their... I mean, obviously, I know what their plan is to de-escalate the Middle East, essentially, and kind of take over. Like, that's been the plan since, you know, early...
I think you mean re-escalate, because they're not de-escalating shit.
Oh, de-escalating the power.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like, how about that? Like,
they are going back to the Bush plan that they've had for a long time, to the road to Iran.
Tehran?
Yes, and once you have the road to Tehran, Iran, once they're out of the way, the oil fields and the pipelines and Saudi Arabia will control it all. And it's over. It's over. And then Russia will lose its gain and footing in European oil, and that's going to cause a lot of fucking more problems. They will spiral into a economy crash. A fun fact for everyone real quick. Did you know that trade between Russia and China hit an all-time high during COVID? China and Wuhan is already reopened. They don't even have mask mandates in Wuhan. The epicenter. They have concerts. The epicenter. So, but I guess if you trap everyone in that got sick and kill them in the streets and round them up and shoot them in the head, there's a really good way to get the virus gone.
Yeah. Cremate the dead.
Yeah, and you weld people into their homes. And if they survive, they survive. That's a pretty, you know. And people were saying that China had the right approach. Come on, people. Learn to fuck.
Bill Gates is the one that said that.
Yeah, he did. I want someone to put together a clip of them just like throwing bodies, shooting people, welding doors, killing people, running around in hazmats, putting God knows what's in that smoke in their streets, and saying, you know, whatever birth defects that's going to happen in China, or maybe just made people go sterile. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. You know?
Yeah.
So that's what they want here, or worse. So, but hey, man, you know what we got looking forward to? We got that vaccine coming, bro. We got that vaccine. Throwing this out here. Sam Tripoli, I like you, but you stole my tweet. You retweeted my tweet and didn't give me any props for it. 5 hours after I tweeted, I saw you. At least like my tweet. That you know that chick Christy Meyer or Mayer, the redhead comedian. She liked actually my response today.
Nice.
About because people are idiots, and right now people are arguing over the Mandalorian armor. The female Mandalorian armor have titty armor.
I didn't even know that was real. I was like, because I saw the person. It was like she was like a media feminist or media consultant for feminists. I don't know, some shit like that. But yeah, I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, people are arguing and freaking out. And my two arguments I had. One, even Stormtrooper armor from the original Star Wars had breastplates and crotch protectors. First of all. Second of all, in World War II, the Russian tanks had breast armor, because if you actually angle the armor like this instead of a flat wall, there's more deflection. Energy moves across it rather directly into it. That's why all tanks now are at an angle instead of broadside, right? Like Tiger tanks had broad, thick armor. Well, now you can actually lighten, you can have less armor, and it deflects. So technically, the breastplate on the female Mandalorians would actually deflect blasts and energy better than a straight male armor. That's just a fun fact for some people, and she liked that. She thought that was funny.
I mean, makes sense.
But it's 100% true about what the Russians did. They are the ones who did that, and so their tanks were lighter and faster with less armor, so they could build tanks that could take more damage. Not a direct hit from right in front of it, but if they're being shot from a distance, it would deflect. Whereas the Tiger tanks had 2 to 3 times the thickness and armor, and were heavy as shit. They're monsters, but, the Russians were able to cheaply make something that can contend with it.
Mm-hmm. That's the only time communism worked.
But yeah, hold on. But why are you all mad about that? Who gives a shit? It's like they literally made it's Star Wars, number one. It's not real. Number two, it could have been the actors that wanted it because their tits are being fucking smashed. Okay? Look, I get it. They can compress. But guess what? You ever met a girl that the first thing, you ever dated someone and the first thing they get home, they're like, I gotta take my bra off? Girls don't be like, I'm gonna keep this bra on all fucking night. If you're a girl that sleeps in a bra, you're sick. You're sick. Okay? You're a freak. You don't even like being whipped. You like some weird shit. Because no girl I've ever met, or woman, I should say, are like, oh, I love my boobs to be smashed in sports bra all night long. Nobody in their right mind likes that, okay? Girls right now are like, free the titty. We don't even need titty compartments. It's like, okay. And then why are you complaining about the armor gives more titty room?
It's whatever it takes to make people fight against each other at this
Well, that's
point.
what it's all about.
That's all it's...
Distract, divide, and deceit.
Uh-huh. That's all the plan is right now. That's why I just don't... I don't even get into politics with people, at this point. I'm just
I do. I think it's fun. That's what my whole Twitter's about. My Twitter's just to argue with people.
But I'm talking about real life.
But that's the thing. Nobody I know has completely different views than me.
Yeah.
They just don't talk to me. And I know people that I thought had different views than me are laughing at my Instagram or Snapchat today where I was pulling up my third eye mask to my face saying that people's masks are slowly moving over their eyes, She's a teacher and is pretty liberal, and she's like, yeah, I fucking hate masks. I'm so over it. I can't take this anymore. She's like, I love when I see people out hiking in a mask. And I'm like,
yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
My favorite's when they're driving alone in a mask.
People that are walking on the sidewalk by themselves are wearing a mask. People that are running on the trail right now are wearing a mask. I'm like, you don't need to.
Trust me, I know. That's why I like in jiu-jitsu, we don't wear masks. I'm fine. I can breathe, bitch, and I have to wear a mask at the gym, but while I'm working out, I just let it droop. I don't give a shit. What are you going to say to me? It's a fucking America, baby. I would live in Texas, baby. Not California anymore. Texas. Okay? I can wear what the fuck I want. Actually, people at the stores, even though it says wear a mask, I've seen people without masks. The other day, this guy was like, I was getting some beer, and this dude was clearing out. By the way, side note, this guy literally bought about 17 packs of this beer. He said it was a local Texas pecan porter. And he's like, you want me to leave you one? It's just so good. I stock up. He's like, I always ask them to get it every year, and I just take it all. I'll leave you one. It's good. I'm like, I don't like a porter that much, Especially it's like 6%, unless it's like a Rasputin or something really strong. I don't like a Guinness. I'm not like a Guinness guy. I want a strong porter that a oatmeal porter. I like oatmeal porter. That shit's good. It's always strong. But or an oatmeal stout. Sorry, oatmeal stout. I don't like porters much. Stouts are better. But this guy's not wearing a mask. Everyone else is wearing masks. And he's talking to me. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's cool, man. And And it's just so funny because you could just tell like he wanted to talk to someone. I just like looked over and laughed because I just see a cart filled with beer, the same beer, and and he just wanted to talk to someone. And I feel like I see these people that just yearn for like social interaction now.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people, and then there's the flip side, people that are like, oh God, you're
Yeah, stay
within
away.
6 feet. It's like fucking weirdo. Like people are like, your window's open. Fresh
Yeah.
air, bitch.
Like when I went into the jiu-jitsu place today, like I was having trouble. Like I don't put on my mask until I get to the door
Mm-hmm.
at a lot of places. And like he was like, "Oh, come in, come in," and I was already putting it on. I was like, "I fucking don't want to take it off,"
Mm-hmm.
because like I don't know. I feel like I'm getting tricked at this point. Like,
Yeah, and it's
uh,
this is the thing. I love when I see these people, these woke people are like, oh my God, like if a mask is the most oppressive thing you've ever gone through, you've never been oppressed.
yeah,
It's not oppression, you idiot. It's giving in. It's following bullshit. If you're willing and being gullible to follow something for fucking 8 months, bitches, 8 months. 2 weeks turned into 8 months.
hmm
Guess what? Almost all my family members have had COVID already. My nurse sisters that take the craziest precautions on earth, wearing, N91 masks and proper protective gear, PPE, got COVID.
At this
And they
point,
live. And my parents got COVID. The only one I was worried about was my mom. And she made it. I'm glad.
hmm
So when I see a person that's 29 years old that dies of COVID or 14 or some shit, that person's already on the way out. I'm not trying to be a dick. You're on the way out if you die of COVID. And it's like, and I honestly don't trust the ventilators. It's like every time someone's like, oh, they were in good shape, but then they went on the ventilator and died. I'm like, if I get COVID, first of all, I'm probably not going to end up, well, I might have had it already because everyone I know has had COVID. Everyone around me. And
yeah,
yeah, it's crazy.
is toilet paper like running out over in Texas, by the way?
It's not fully stocked, so it's pretty limited.
Same.
Especially
It's pretty
after
much.
the elections, definitely people look stocked up again.
Yeah, it's
Um,
almost virtually empty over here.
Look, people, do you know what I worry about more than toilet paper is running water? Because guess what? I can just bend over and touch my toes in the shower, and it's clean. I got my own bidet, bitch. Okay, first of all. Second of all, if you really want to get crazy, and you don't have napkins and stuff, just use cloth towel and wash it. Not saying for poo,
hmm
but I'm saying for like if you're eating dinner and you need to, whatever, or just don't wipe yourself every second. I don't know what to tell people. People are all freaking out, and I'm at this point where I'm just laughing, man. I'm laughing. Okay, laughing.
hmm
They're not even tracking influenza anymore.
Yeah, that's all. All COVID deaths are going under the flu too. Like it's
Oh,
you know.
all flu deaths are going on in COVID. Yeah,
hmm
and it's like, it's it's insane, and we're gonna have a second lockdown because of our president elect.
Yeah, exactly. That's also on the like what's happening as far as the world goes, as far as this election goes. Like people, that's the one big thing people are kind of realizing they fucked up.
Yeah, I saw this dumbass. I'm gonna call her a dumbass, saying I own a small business, and that's why I voted for Joe Biden. You're about to lose your small business, you fucking idiot. Congratulations,
Yeah,
you played yourself.
yeah. Especially the ones that say like, oh, they'll take like Biden knows small businesses. I'm like, no, he does not. Like he doesn't. No, no,
Um,
does
Small
not care.
businesses. What does he know? Bombing?
Small.
No, it's not a small business. The smallest business the Bidens have ever known is a crack dealer and coke dealer, or the business of small girls.
Or your local drug dealer. I get
Seriously.
it. And or sex trafficker.
Oh, someone told him, he's like, oh, small business. Is that when there's a girl that's 13 and her business is small? Because he's a fucking pedophile, disgusting fuck. How did you vote for him in good conscience? Look, I'm not saying Trump doesn't like pussy. But at least every person that actually has a substantial case against him is an adult.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm pretty sure every billionaire has a case against him for sexual harassment. Which was some EDM guy, trying to remember who, like one of the biggest ones is not allowed in America anymore because he has a suit against him where this girl knowingly took Molly and ecstasy with him and had sex and then sued him for rape, but because she admitted that she wanted to take it and left with him, but the problem was he had a higher tolerance than her, and so that's why it was rape. Look, I ain't rich, I ain't powerful, I'm barely known. Okay, I met a lot of people in my life, but most probably don't remember me. But I know. If you're a guy or a girl and someone that has drugs wants to take you in their room, it's not to show you their Lego collection, you fucking idiot. You know, I learned, I learned that lesson at like 15, 16 when I got beat up in CIF. And this girl's like, oh, I feel bad, let's go see a movie. And then she's like, oh, the movie starts in like a couple hours and there's no one home. And then she's like, and so we're hanging out at my house. And she's like, well, let's watch something while we're waiting. She's like, can you give me some water? And then I go downstairs and I come back upstairs and she's naked on my bed. Right? Like, that's...
Learned at a young age.
Yeah, you learn it's like, the bedroom has a bed. Sleeping and sex. Like, okay, we're not gonna have a pillow fight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and also, if a guy invites you with drugs to his room and has a pillow fight with you, run. You're not leaving there alive. Okay, so he also is gonna dress you up with his doll and kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's I'm sorry. Like, yeah, it's okay. Sorry, you're not that funny, probably, guy or girl.
I get.
Okay. When there's drugs involved and money and tits and pussy and dick, okay, no one's that funny, no one's that fun, no one's that cool. There's drugs involved, drugs and shit. Okay, remember Jesse, the fucking druggie Jesse?
The one we brought to the couch, brought woman to his couch. Yeah.
Brought women to his couch. Girls, attractive girls. But once they got on that, like, crystal meth or whatever they did, or, like, weed even makes free weed makes girls do stupid shit, and guys too. But attractive females would sleep with him on a couch he was crashing on in somebody else's apartment. The mayor of Claremont's daughter, or stepdaughter, I forgot, it was either the daughter or stepdaughter. The mayor of Claremont was in the apartment on my couch to do God knows what.
Heroin.
But she was also crazy and told everyone she was dying and had these diseases. And then I just found out her disease was spoiled rich girl disease. Not that she's dying, she's just a spoiled rich girl that wants to feel bad about herself.
Mm-hmm.
Because she got everything in the world.
Some of those people usually die.
Yeah.
Sad to say, like,
self-fulfilling prophecies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But so now we're gonna let's finish this up in the next 20 minutes, and let's talk about self-fulfilling prophecies of what's happening next in the future. Boom, boom, boom. Because we mentioned a little bit of Bill Gates, a little bit of vaccines, a little bit of how Biden's going to be taking all our rights away, or at least eroding more of the rights. And if you don't believe that, look into the Patriot Act. Look into how they remove propaganda laws. Look into just look into CIA ... or whatever, a space, put CIA, put a space, and then put operations, and just see what Google tells you. And that's what Google's telling you. And read through the shit they've done, and you'll realize that, yeah, your rights have been eroded pretty much over time. And the government, deep state, are liars. Biden's in the hands of the deep state. And the New World Order's coming. Just saying. At least Trump kept the media on their toes and the government on their toes and other countries on their toes. Even if he was a bad president and you truly believe that. I'm not saying he is or isn't. I'm just saying if you believe he's a bad president, the one thing you cannot deny is that he called out the media, he called out the government, and he called out the deep state. And that in itself was the most important thing of his presidency. Because no matter how good or bad he was, that kept us free.
Yeah, I think going to the self-fulfilling prophecies, I don't even want to say Biden is the president at this point, but unless I see otherwise,
Civil War?
I don't know how to word this properly. I think we're fucked with him as far as self-fulfilling prophecy, as far as the 4 to 6 week lockdown, as far as giving money back to Syrians, as far as essentially working with China again and getting screwed over on that. And I would imagine the vaccine situation is going to be worse because Kamala Harris even said she won't take the vaccine if it's Trump's vaccine. So there's going to be competing vaccines for different COVID-related vaccines.
Yeah.
So
they want their own cocktail, even though it should be the same fucking thing.
Yeah, I'm just like, so you don't want... All right, for sure.
Look, and I don't trust the Trump vaccine because, or Pfizer, or Moderna, or whatever you want to say, because this is my issue. There hasn't even been enough time for proper short-term risk trials, right? Like, I don't know what's going to happen short-term. It's only been a couple months. That's barely short-term. Like, a year at least, you need to know. Second of all is long-term. The things that take years. The reason why it's like, have you or your loved one been affected by myeloma? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe. I don't even know what that is. My back's been creaking. Is that it? You know, it's like, like what? It's like, were you using these earplugs during the war that you were killing innocent children? Well, you could be compensated, not for killing innocent children and the trauma and the PTSD you had, but you might have a hearing problem, which, you know, you can only hear the screams still. That's because of the plugs. Not what you did, but the plugs is why you keep hearing the children crying. You know.
Were you a prison guard at Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq? Did the springs bother you on your mattress? Yeah. Well,
you know, in Guantanamo Bay, it wasn't fair because they were on the, you know, shitty beds themselves sleeping. It was horrible conditions. They had to torture. You had to torture in horrible conditions. That's not fair to you. You could call now. No, okay, going back to it, though. So, again, I'm not saying I trust it, but the one thing I do prefer about the Trump vaccine is I don't have to take it. If you're high risk, elderly, or a goddamn doctor or nurse, you're going to be suggested to take it first.
I think if you're
but do you know what Bill Gates with Kamala Harris says? Do you know who the people are the most at risk? Are people of color. So guess who gets to take it first? People of color.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. But George and I have been talking about this kind of next step of humans. Leap of technology, integration, society, and possible forced evolution. And, the vaccine could be a part of it. You can get you can go on Reddit, you can go on any Facebook, you can get some information on how they think that it's an RNA vaccine that is going to be altering our own DNA, altering whatever, what have you, and that's going to be
Sure it is.
having issues, or at least they're going to put implants in you, not just the vaccine. But I truly believe, and then George, you can kind of wrap on what you believe after this. I think we're at a pivotal point, and I've kind of mentioned this before. We are at this new point in history where we are going to advance for the good or the bad. Now, there's a few things coming, and you're gonna get it. One, they want global vaccines, especially under Biden, because he's going to go back to the WHO. That's another thing. He's going to go back and work with the WHO again, Bill Gates, and getting the world vaccinated, not just America. And that's another thing about Joe Biden. Trump says, fuck the world. We're going to get vaccinated if you want. Everyone else can go do whatever the fuck they want. We'll sell them vaccines once Americans are good. Biden goes, we're going to work with the WHO and Bill Gates to make sure that the world's vaccinated. Well, that's a big...
And Bill Gates, yeah.
Well,
Bill Gates was excited about that.
Nothing is free, number one. I'm sorry that you're socialist, communist, crybaby bitch ass motherfucking diversity classes told you that things could be free. There's no such thing as free. Okay? I heard someone argue, well, food grows naturally. Water's natural. Yeah, not if you live in fucking Arizona. Okay, There's millions of people. Arizona is not inhabitable for millions. Maybe a couple thousand. Like when they had the Pueblos. And the fucking, who's up in the north? The, Navajo. They live up, but the up north is nice. And not tropical, sorry, there's like forest and lush greenery. Southern Arizona is a fucking desert, and you can't have millions upon millions upon millions of people. It's supplemented environment, right? Number one. Number two. So there's another thing that they're talking about, this new reset, right? And this new reset is going to be a forced hybrid symbiotic relationship between society, big tech, biology, and the internet and all that jazz, right? What does that mean? So I think what they're trying to do, and I'm not blaming Neuralink, but there's going to be following other companies like Neuralink. They don't want this to happen again. They keep saying this. That's why they want the whole world vaccinated, and the world can't go back to normal until there's a monitoring system. China wants to be number one. They already have a social credit score. Now let's combine this all. So a Neuralink type of essentially network that's going to be hooked into your brain to connect all humans around the world. Now, good things and bad things can come from this, right? So if all people are connected, information and knowledge is distributed, and brain power is focused into certain problems. So now you can say the smartest people in the world now have the knowledge of the dumbest, and the dumbest people have the knowledge of the smartest, right? And it could, in theory, we could say through supercomputers, Neuralink, and the human collective consciousness of the future, no problem will ever not be solved. We can get rid of disease. We can literally figure out how to slow aging. We can use, nanobots to clean our systems out that are controlled by the Neuralink in our brain. So our body literally finds that there's cancer, a disease, an infection, a virus, and send it, remove it, get it out of your body. It'll help regress aging, everything, right? We'll be able to conquer the stars one day. But that's the optimistic. Now, the pessimistic to me is all that's going to happen, but for the rich, the oligarchy, the super powerful. And the rest of us are going to be mind slaves. Mind service. Mind. Like your mind is going to be the slave. They're going to use your brain power to solve problems for them. and we will become a socialist society, and money will be useless. It would be position. You do something to live, right? And
Hmm.
that's and
Social credit.
a social credit, a social currency system where your job, because you were given this information in your brain, is to do this, and then they will benefit off it. The super elite will live longer and benefit. So I see in the next 10 years that at least the majority of the population in the Western, second and first world countries, and some of the third world countries will all be connected to the same systems and interconnected. Because this phone you can have in your hands, I can get rid of that at any time. But if you implant it in my fucking mind, and you feed me information and take information and exchange information, I cannot remove that. So I personally see that we are moving that way, and optimistically, we can force an evolution. We can become better. We can live longer, and we can conquer the stars, and we can conquer everything. Or we can become slaves of the mind. And we're already kind of slaves of the mind, because there's a lot of sheeple out there that won't open their eyes to what's really happening. They are willing to keep a mask on no matter what. They'll, like we said earlier, they're going to drive with a mask. At this point, it's almost symbolic more than anything, right? It's like they said, it's patriotism to wear a mask.
Yeah.
You're
Hmm.
saving a life. You may
Yeah.
not be sick, but you're not risking someone else, and that's why it's patriotic.
Yeah.
And just a warning: if your government ever says something's patriotic, run.
The Patriot Act.
Yeah,
It's patriotic,
exactly. It's patriotic to drop drone strikes.
right? Hmm.
All right, George. What about you? What do you think about this fulfilling prophecy, these next steps, and what does the New World Order want to do in your eyes?
I mean, not not to bring up Kanye, but Kanye definitely mentioned that slavery was a choice, and I feel the NWO would like to make it mandatory. Like it's almost like Israel, your 2 years of service, but this is forever, your rest of your life type of situation. And I don't know, man. Like people are like saying, "Oh, we survived 4 years of Donald Trump. We survived 8 years of Obama. We survived 8 years of Bush. We'll survive 4 years of Biden." And I'm like, what if Biden dies in a year? All right, then you got Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, not a, not a decent human being whatsoever. Her fake laugh annoys me.
Excuse
Like,
me, I'm speaking.
yeah, and like she seems like a really bitchy HR lady, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like, like, like multiple like
she's
uh characters. Like,
she's mad that she knows how much everyone makes. Like
yeah, like
fake to
that
you
type of
every
thing.
moment.
Like, her husband's like this big Jewish lawyer and like Hollywood Jewish lawyer, doesn't have kids on her own. She seems suspect as fuck. So like that's where I'm like, okay, but then we'll have 3 years or 2.5 of Kamala, which isn't great. And
But Kamala's a puppet. She'll dance when they ask her
exactly
to
for the
dance.
NWO
That's
for
why
sure.
they picked her. You think they picked her because of her track record? You think they picked her because she was the first person to drop out of the presidential race? No, that's not why.
Yeah,
They said jump, and she said ha ha.
yeah. Who do you want me to blow?
Yeah.
Like,
So wait, I don't
like,
have to blow people with my mouth. I could just press a button and it'll blow their heads off. Great, I'll
yeah,
do whatever you want,
yeah,
as
exactly.
long as she's blowing.
That's why I'm just like, I don't know. We're stepping into a dangerous territory with this 4 to 6 week lockdown because from what I read on Reddit today, that seems like the plan to give a universal basic income to people and have government kind of take over that. Government slowly take over medical health, possibly because people want like free health care, but don't understand what you have to give up in order to. Well, I here's the deal. I do feel medical, like medical insurance fuck people over. Like people pay way too much for shit they need, especially when it comes to like cancer and amongst other stuff.
Well, yeah,
But
but Obamacare people pay through the roof for shit too, and there was hidden fees. Do you know how many
yeah,
times I got a second bill in the mail when I had Obamacare? That was 3 times the original amount I paid up front.
yeah.
Not the
So
copay. I'm talking about special procedure pay. So thousands
this
of dollars.
saying exactly. That's why I'm like, I don't know what you expect the government to purchase everything, but then you go into this whole entire like, even with this new stimulus package that they'll possibly, push. That's 3 trillion. The other one was 2.5. So we're putting ourselves more in debt.
We'll be at
And
30 over $30 trillion if they pass it.
yeah, I think we spent $1 trillion in on the war in general in the Middle East so far. So, and we spent 2.5 and three, and another three in the less than 8 months. So it took 19 years to get to $1 trillion in debt, and it took us 9 months to go into five, or 9 to 10 months if the second one passes to 5.5 million or 5.5 trillion in debt.
And that's not
That
including his new economic growth for Green New Deal, which is going to be over 4 to 5 trillion minimum.
Yeah, and like coming from out here where there is that blue collar worker as far as oil fields and you know coal and all that stuff, that's gonna hurt a good amount of that shit. That's gonna probably cease to exist. And you have Gavin Newsom saying by 2035 they're not gonna do any electric vehicles. Like you're not be able to purchase electric, or you'll only be able to purchase electric vehicles after 2035 or something like that.
Which
So
building a lithium battery is horrible for the environment.
yeah, and now you have that GMC electric Hummer coming out too, which is very interesting. So
California grids can't even handle how it is now. Imagine if everyone had an electric vehicle.
exactly, like what do you expect the world? Oh no,
Did you
I
see
kind
that
of
article about 2030? In 2030, there's going to be a society with nobody owns land. It's all socialist. Nobody owns cars, and everybody's happy. Nobody buys new clothes.
because everyone's debt free,
Yeah, and
but
we
at
didn't
what
know how
price?
happy we'd be.
Hmm. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how this goes, but it doesn't look good on either or regarding riots and people going a little crazy if you take away the new toy, which is Joe Biden.
Yeah, well, regardless of if Trump concedes or if Biden ends up losing, there's going to be more riots. There's going to be more chaos. I'm just waiting for the day people start shooting.
Yeah,
And,
like
I there's only so far certain people can be pushed. And,
yeah,
how coordinated was that, too? I didn't even know about the Million MAGA March. And I'm in the internet a lot. And
mm,
how did they, by the nighttime, have thousands of Antifa and BLM?
orchestrated.
Easy. They just
Fucking
were bust in again. Like, come on.
yeah, like it's a soap opera, and the media realizes how much. Like the media is not gonna like take their foot off the gas as far as the situation. They're making way too much money.
Well, it's the only way to make money right now.
Exactly. So
It's funny. They're digging their own graves though, because again, the the brown shirts, Antifa, um, and some of the more militant BLM don't realize that they're just useful idiots. Some of them are there because they truly believe what they're doing is right. And some of them are just useful idiots. And I'm sorry. And they're being used. And if you really think the warmongers and the executives and the Wall Street that is so excited that Biden won is on your side, you're an idiot. They just don't
Mhm.
want to be in the spotlight anymore, and they want to be able to do whatever they want without any consequences.
Mhm. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens in the world. Should be interesting. I need to figure out how to like make more money. Like that's like so it's kind of like difficult.
I stopped caring about money. This fiat money is going to be useless. Invest in gold, maybe Bitcoin. I'm also worried about Bitcoin because if they take tax, because even if you have Bitcoin and then they take control of the internet and restrict your access, then you just wasted money. Or they can just, arrest you and do what they did to the guy from Silk Road, where when he went to jail, they forced him to give up his access key, and now they have $2 billion worth of Bitcoin that he owned. Imagine that. So again, I say gold that's hidden in your land somewhere in the middle of nowhere is the best way to go and learn a skill. Learn a skill. Most of these socialist kids that want to fucking have socialism don't have any skills. They can't do anything. They can't farm. They can't fucking mill things. They can't build things. They have zero skills. They know how to cry and they know how many genders there are. And you think you're going to live in socialism? Socialism literally only works if you have a skill. Everyone has to have a skill, and that's it. Communism and socialism is the people's workers' movements. You're all not workers. You're all kids in debt. And you want to get out a fucking debt-free card. That's all it is. That's all it is. And that's the fucking biggest problem. You think it's going to fucking work for you when it didn't work for the people that truly believed it was going to work and had real skills and no
Mhm.
debt?
Yeah,
You're in it for the wrong reasons, baby.
blows my mind, but I don't know. We'll see. Take care of your body, mind, and spirit, and that's all you can do at this point.
Just better yourself. That's what I gotta say. Better yourself. At the end of the day, we might be fucked or you might not. We don't know.
Exactly. So,
Realistically, we're still here able to be on the internet, and there's a lot of horrible things that have happened, and just be glad you're alive now and just keep moving forward. But prepare. Plan for the worst, hope for the best. That's all you can do. That is the best thing you can do right now for anybody, whomever you are. That's all you can do.
that's all you can do.
Any final thoughts, George?
Um, mm, let's keep doing these.
Yeah, sorry we've been out of
'Cause,
it. We'll get them. I'll get these up.
yeah.
School.
Uh,
I've been in shul and
but
jujitsu,
overall,
so
like, just take care of your own, take care of your family, take care of your friends, take care of your close ones.
also go to Thanksgiving and Christmas or Hanukkah or the fucking Kwanzaa, whatever motherfucking thing you fucking do. Who gives a fuck? Do it. Don't give up. Don't give up on your family. They're trying to kill the family unit. If those bureaucrat, evil, fucking politicians could go and party in the streets with no masks, with thousands of people, you can go to a funeral. You can go to dinner and you'll be all right. Don't be an AOC and get pegged by peg your boyfriend and then go make the same fucking food that your family's gonna make. Okay? Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? If your family dies of COVID, I'm sorry. I really am sorry. That sucks. But guess what? The chances are they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Good. But guess what? Driving it on the street, you can die. You have a chance to die every fucking... You could literally be eating goddamn chicken, and swallow a bone, and choke to death. I knew a woman, not well, but I worked with her, from the Ritz-Carlton, that choked on a sandwich and died on her days off. And people didn't know where she was. They found her over a week later. She had animals. So just think about what that looked like. Imagine on a hot summer day finding a dead old woman's body choked on a fucking sandwich. Lived alone and her animals were nipping at her and she was swollen and puffy. Imagine that shit. So guess what? You could die doing anything. 1,000 ways to die. So live in the moment. Enjoy your families. Fucking keep your eyes open, all three of them. Until next time, we'll be back on here soon enough. Thank you, George.